it's your girl Rochelle, and I'm back with another video. It's time to pay off this mortgage. I had all these grand plans. I was gonna buy me some balloons. I was gonna do this with Micah face to face. Y'all, I just want this thing done. So we are not gonna waste any time. Plus, I had a little bit of, lack of luster, lack of excitement because I found out that, this process takes a little longer than I thought. I put in my request to make my last payment for the mortgage, that payoff request letter. And, the lender is just taking their sweet time. They told me 24 to 48 hours. It's been 5 days. And we're in the middle of a holiday week. So I pretty much won't have this paid in full until sometime next month. But I am clearing my roster of this. Okay, the money is sitting in their bank account so they can access it whenever they're ready. And it has an extra amount there because I know they'll try to charge me for some interest in January. By them dragging their feet, I'm going to have to pay January's interest now. So I wanted to leave some extra money in there. It is what it is. I have come too far to be upset over this process. I knew it would be like this in the end, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about like the last payment woes, like how you really have to be on their timetable. They move as fast or slow as they like. And so, we're going to finish this up here on our end. So I am finally back with a debt update video. And what I've been doing for the last few days is going back and looking at all of my old content from the first time we were debt free. So if you're new to my channel, what's up? Hey y'all. Hey, my name is Rochelle and I love sharing my money journey to debt freedom again. So my husband and I became debt free for the very first time, consumer debt free, credit cards, all that stuff, on July 6, 2023. We paid off our mortgage 3 years ago, around that same time. Could have been a few months later. I don't know. It's just kind of whatever. My brain is all over the place because I'm just feeling all the emotions right now of how it felt to be debt free the first time. And so much has happened in this 3 years. I know technically July 2023 was 2 years ago. We became consumer debt free for the first time on July 6, 2023. About 3 years ago, which would have been 2022, we paid off our mortgage. And that was the best feeling in the world. I know what it feels like to have your house, your car, and a full paycheck. Like have your house, car, and credit cards all paid off at the same time. I will never forget that feeling. I was in my mid-30s when it happened. And to me, it was the best feeling I've ever experienced, y'all. I cannot put it into words. I'm just like, so I have been, that feeling has been living rent free in my head, and Micah's for a long time. And we vow to get there again. Let's talk about the progress we were able to make in the month of June. Y'all, this was my biggest debt payoff month ever. We made some very large decisions over the last few months and made things happen so that we are able to pay off 7 credit cards totaling $56,720. Now, I'll get into all the details. Down the line once the dust has settled and I have all of the numbers so that I can really share the full story with you, because I believe in responsible storytelling. I don't want to give you half a story and just have the comments just be buck wild crazy, but just know that we did take an unconventional approach to debt payoff, and I have zero regrets. In fact, again, I found and learned so much. So let me know in the comments what you think we did to
pay off this debt. How we came up with this cash. It was cash. This is not a loan. This is not, any type of money that we have to owe someone. This is free and clear money. So, in addition to the seven credit cards being paid off, we were also able to send $10,680 to Sapphire, which is one of my highest interest cards. And you're going to hear me say the word "my" a lot because this is all consumer debt that I have accrued for different reasons, medical events, all types of things, personal things. This is not something like from the first time when we were in debt where we went shopping, we were just, traveling, we were doing all the things. This is taxes, this is all types of stuff. So I feel such a sense of relief. Now, honestly, what I'm feeling right now, I feel kind of numb because I feel like I'm dreaming because this is such big progress. Literally, we have cut our debt in half. Our monthly expenses lowered by such a large amount, and it's just going to continue to just get better and better because we on a roll. So let's jump right into what the exact numbers are looking like so you can understand more about what's going on. Just remember, debt progress is something that is very powerful. It's not perfect. There's more than one way to do it, and don't just limit yourself to the options that you hear that are out there. The ones that are, okay, yes, increase your income, lower your expenses, sell things. Sometimes you have to do things that are outside the box and are unconventional to get the results that you need to get sooner. Basically, the whole reason Micah and I started having these conversations a few months ago is because Micah did the math. See, this is what happens when you budget and then you have someone who's good with numbers naturally. Micah realized that the way that we were able to pay off debt a couple of years ago versus now is totally different. The interest is out of pocket. The economy is out of pocket. Just the general cost of living is higher. And so these same large payments we were making years ago just were not landing the same. It was like telling the same joke that you used to tell years ago, and it wasn't landing the same way. And so we had to switch it up. We had to do something different to achieve the results that we're trying to achieve because, y'all, we're 40 now. We don't have time to still be talking about this same old debt. We have goals other than debt freedom. So here are the cards that we were able to pay off. So first off was the Amex card. The starting balance was $16,787. We paid that down to zero. Discover was $9,848. We paid that down to zero. Venture was $15,305. We paid that down to zero. My Apple card was about $4,169. We paid that down to zero. Micah's Apple card was $5,686. It's now zero. My business credit card, which I usually keep at a zero balance. So I was kind of like irritated that I had to pay this off, but we just got our taxes done. Yes, y'all, we late. We just got our taxes done for 2024 because we had to go back in time. We've been meeting with a tax person for the last few months to go over the last few years of our tax returns to make sure everything's in order. And yeah, so my business credit card was $3,434. We paid that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and the last one was another card that we use for Eva's business, which totaled $1,491. Now, that is technically something that she could have paid off on her own because that card usually stays at zero. But because we had the money on hand, we went ahead and paid that off to zero, and Eva's just finding that out because I didn't even tell her till now. Okay, so what that means is we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 credit cards that have a balance, and the HELOC and the car payment. Another thing that we did with, in addition to what, well, hold on. Let's talk about the credit cards first. I told y'all I'm all over the place. Please forgive me. This is happening in real time. I usually take a few days to gather myself, but I wanted to go ahead and start getting this content out here. So, what that means is we have lowered our monthly bills by $1,700 a month by paying off those cards in full. That is now money that we can use to pay down the debt that we have left. How did we come up with the plan of which cards to pay off? We literally loaded it in ChatGPT, y'all. And I had, we had our conversations on the side, but then we also just did a lot of research. And what we came up with is to get rid of the cards that had the highest interest with the high balances, but also the longest, like they have been charging us the interest for the longest. And so that's how we got rid of Discover, because that was the card that we didn't get to pay off when we became mortgage free 3 years ago. We were so focused on the mortgage, and we ended up having to pay for some major house repairs, and we used the Discover card for that, and it's been sitting there all that time. So that was kind of an emotional thing for me. I was like so happy to not have to worry about that balance anymore. So that's basically what we did. Y'all, these interest rates are crazy. And I think sometimes in order to develop a sense of urgency and realize just how dire your money situation might be, you have to not just write down the balance of the card, but write down how much of the payment that you actually make every month actually lowers your balance. And also track your APR, your interest rate, monthly. I found that our interest rates had jumped so significantly, so quickly on these credit cards. No wonder these credit card balances weren't moving. No, you know what I mean? We're over here killing ourselves making these $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 payments, going nowhere, y'all. Going nowhere. I mean, it was like say for instance, if I was to 2 years ago make a $1,000 payment, $750 of that might go to the actual balance, lower the balance by $750, and $250 will go to interest. That same $1,000 payment nowadays, this is all just random numbers, but you get the idea. Maybe about $250 of it would lower the overall balance, and $750 will go to interest. Now, I know that seems extreme, but I'm telling you, these numbers, y'all, they don't lie. So after we paid off those 7 credit cards, we then went ahead and started throwing whatever extra money we had left over to our Chase Sapphire card. So we were able to pay $10,680 to Sapphire, which lowered our balance down to $3,886, which is what we plan on hopefully paying off in the month of July with all this freed up money that we now have. So the reason we chose Sapphire next is because it's still a high interest credit card. We're talking 24%. Okay. So it's next in line. It's got to go. It's been hanging around too long. Now, in addition to paying off credit cards, paying down high interest credit cards, we really wanted to focus on the HELOC. We had some funds set aside, and what we wanted to do, instead of just paying down just credit cards, we wanted to stop with what we had left, which was $26,530. Instead of just putting it in a savings account or investing it, we wanted to really focus on our monthly minimum payments. And what we found is that we could put this money inside of the HELOC so that it would naturally lower that monthly payment and help us to start our plan back up of using the HELOC to pay down debt so more quickly at a lower interest rate. And so that's what we did. So now our HELOC balance went from $94,501 to $71,401. $462. So the goal is just to keep plugging away and getting that HELOC balance down so that we can continue to just use the HELOC to pay down debt more quickly. So hopefully that makes sense. The last debt that we have is the car. We did the math, y'all. It simply does not make sense for us to pay the car off right now when we have all this high interest consumer debt. As bad as we want to, because we are tired of the monthly payment, it just doesn't make sense. Our interest rate is just like 2% on the car. And so we pay like $40 a month in interest for our car payment. And so the car balance is down to $21,617. It should be fully paid off in June of 2027. And so, or sooner. And so we'll revisit that once it gets closer. So what is next? Now that we have freed up our monies, the next plan is to completely pay off Sapphire. So like I said, that $3,886 balance. Then we're going to attack my sister-loc's credit card, business credit card, and my Prime credit card, which will be the last large high-interest credit card. And so while we're doing that, we're going to definitely maintain our sinking funds for these unexpected events that come up, and also keep the discipline going of monthly budgeting, monthly expense tracking, all that type stuff. And just really continue to pare down and knock down that HELOC. Oh, y'all, this is so crazy. I want to celebrate, but it's just hard. I'm so happy I have my husband in my life to help talk this through. I want to be very clear. This is debt that I have accumulated. Okay, Micah had. The only debt that Micah truly had out of these credit cards was his Apple card. And that was to buy something that we needed, which was a computer. So just breaking those old habits of buy now, pay later, buy now, pay off later. Now we are going by Micah's rule. If we don't have the money at least saved to cover the cost of the purchase twice, we're not buying it. It has to wait. And I think that I've been able to unlearn a lot of bad money habits over these last 2 to 3 years. And we just locked in. We locked in. I'm proud of us. We've kept going. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but I just thank you guys for staying on this journey with me, and I will see you guys in the next video with another update. I plan on doing monthly budgets, monthly budget recaps, and mid-month check-ins, just so you guys can know how it's going with our numbers so far, along with some other content, because I think that there's a whole conversation that needs to happen that talks about just budgeting in general. And I want to share with you guys my thoughts on budgeting coming up very soon. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, you know what it is. Peace, love, and budgets.